December 4th, 1872. A date that would become etched in maritime history, the vast, unforgiving Atlantic Ocean. Waves crashed relentlessly against the hull of the DEI Gratia, a sturdy vessel navigating the stormy seas. Captain Morehouse, a seasoned mariner, squinted through his spyglass, scanning the horizon for any signs of trouble or distress. Suddenly he spotted a ship, its sails billowing in the wind, adrift on the open water. It was an odd and unsettling sight. He ordered his men to steer closer. As they approached, the name on the hull became clear. Mary Celeste. A ship known to many, but what was it doing here, seemingly abandoned? Her sails were set, catching the wind perfectly, but she was eerily silent. No crew on deck, no signs of life. The crew of the DEI Gratia called out, their voices echoing across the empty deck. No response. Captain Morehouse felt a shiver crawl down his spine, a sense of foreboding. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. With a sense of dread, he boarded the Mary Celeste with a small party, determined to uncover the mystery. An unsettling stillness hung in the air. The ship was deserted, yet traces of life lingered, as if the crew had vanished into thin air. In the galley, a half-eaten meal sat on a table, abandoned in haste. The food was still fresh, suggesting the crew had left suddenly. Tools were scattered on the deck, as if dropped in the middle of work. The scene was chaotic, yet eerily calm, but not a soul in sight. The Mary Celeste was a ghost ship. Adrift in the vastness of the Atlantic, her crew vanished without a trace. Captain Morehouse recorded the eerie discovery in his logbook, noting the strange and inexplicable circumstances. The mystery of the Mary Celeste would haunt him and the maritime world for years to come. The ocean held its secrets tightly, and the fate of the Mary Celeste's crew remained one of the greatest maritime mysteries of all time. Adrift in the vastness, the Mary Celeste's story continues to captivate and baffle, a haunting reminder of the ocean's enigmatic depths. The Mary Celeste was a merchant brigantine. She had set sail from New York, bound for Genoa. Captain Benjamin Briggs, a seasoned sailor, was at the helm. He had his wife, young daughter, and a crew of 7 with him. Now they were all gone, vanished. Morehouse knew Briggs by reputation. A good man, a capable captain. He would never abandon his ship without a fight. Morehouse examined the ship's logbook. The last entry, 10 days old, spoke of nothing unusual. Then silence, unexplained and absolute. The Mary Celeste was in surprisingly good condition. There was no sign of a struggle or a pirate attack. The cargo was intact. Personal belongings were undisturbed. It was as if the crew had simply vanished into thin air. But something wasn't right. The lifeboat was missing. A single rope dangled from the side, frayed as if cut in a hurry. The ship's chronometer was broken, the sextant gone. As Morehouse investigated, the sense of unease grew stronger. Something had happened here, something beyond explanation. News of the Mary Celeste spread like wildfire. Theories abounded: piracy, mutiny, a giant squid. But none of it made sense. The mystery deepened, drawing in those hungry for answers, or perhaps those seeking to be found. Years passed. The Mary Celeste, salvaged and sold, sailed under different owners, different flags. But the whispers followed her, tales of strange occurrences aboard the ship, unexplained noises, flickering lights, the feeling of being watched. The Mary Celeste, some whispered, now carried a different kind of cargo, a presence unseen, unheard, but always felt. Section 5, Whispers on the Wind. One by one, the men who sailed on the Mary Celeste after her fateful voyage met with misfortune. The ship, once a proud vessel, became a harbinger of doom. Sailors who dared to step aboard found themselves ensnared in a web of bad luck and eerie occurrences. Some died at sea, claimed by storms or strange accidents. The ocean, with its unpredictable nature, seemed to conspire against them. Waves that rose like mountains and winds that howled like banshees became their final companions. The sea, once a source of livelihood, turned into a graveyard for these unfortunate souls. Others went mad, driven to insanity by things they couldn't explain. The isolation and the endless horizon played tricks on their minds. They spoke of ghostly whispers carried by the wind, of shadows that moved on their own, and of an overwhelming sense of dread that never left them. Their eyes, once filled with the spark of adventure, now reflected only fear and confusion. The legend of the Mary Celeste grew darker, intertwined with whispers of a curse. Stories spread like wildfire, each more terrifying than the last. The ship was no longer just a vessel, it was a legend, a tale of woe and mystery that captivated the imagination of all who heard it. Some said the missing crew haunted the ship, their souls trapped between worlds. They were seen as ghostly apparitions, wandering the decks, forever searching for a way back to the living. Their mournful cries echoed through the night, a chilling reminder of their tragic fate. Others spoke of an ancient evil awakened from the depths that had claimed the Mary Celeste as its own. This malevolent force, they said, was responsible for the ship's cursed fate. It lurked in the deep, waiting to ensnare any who dared to challenge its dominion over the sea. Whatever the truth, the Mary Celeste had become more than just a ship. She was a symbol of the unknown, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our world. Her story was a testament to the power of the sea and the mysteries it holds. She was a symbol of the unknown, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our world. The Mary Celeste's tale continues to haunt the annals of maritime history, a ghost story that refuses to fade away. Her name is whispered in hushed tones, a legend that endures, reminding us of the thin veil between reality and the supernatural. Section 6. The Logbook's Final Entry. A century later, a young historian named Peter Samuelson became obsessed with the Mary Celeste. He scoured archives, interviewed descendants of the crew, even joined an expedition to the ship's last known location. He was determined to find an explanation, to separate fact from the ever-growing mythology. One day, deep in the maritime archives of London, he stumbled upon a collection of Captain Morehouse's personal effects. And there, tucked away in a hidden compartment of the captain's own logbook, was an additional entry. An entry dated after the Mary Celeste was found. An entry written in a shaky, frantic hand. Section 7. A rescue mission gone wrong. Captain Morehouse, a seasoned mariner, described the eerie events that unfolded after he and his crew discovered the Mary Celeste adrift in the Atlantic. The ship was eerily silent, with no signs of life on board. Morehouse, sensing something was amiss, decided to send a few of his most trusted men aboard to investigate and eventually sail her to Gibraltar. As his men boarded the ghostly vessel, they moved with an odd urgency, almost as if compelled by an unseen force. These were experienced sailors, men who had faced the wrath of the sea countless times. Yet now they seemed unnaturally hurried and anxious. The Mary Celeste, now under the control of Morehouse's men, began to sail into the fading light of the evening. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the water. It was then that something inexplicable happened. A thick, almost supernatural fog bank rolled in from the distance, swallowing the Mary Celeste whole. The fog was unlike anything Morehouse had ever seen, dense and impenetrable, as if it had a life of its own. Morehouse described an overwhelming feeling of dread that washed over him, as if icy fingers were crawling up his spine. His men, too, felt the oppressive weight of the fog, their faces etched with fear and uncertainty. The fog seemed to cling to the Mary Celeste, moving with her, almost as if it were a part of the ship itself. It was an unsettling sight, the ship shrouded in mist, drifting aimlessly in the vast ocean. Days turned into weeks, and despite their best efforts, Morehouse and his crew never saw the Mary Celeste or the men who boarded her again. The ship had vanished into the fog, leaving behind only questions and a chilling mystery that would haunt sailors for generations to come. Section 8, marked by the Mary Celeste. Morehouse wrote of the nightmares that plagued him after that night. Dreams of the Mary Celeste shrouded in fog, her sails now billowing with an unnatural wind. He saw the faces of his men, their eyes vacant, their expressions twisted in fear. He wrote of feeling a presence aboard his own ship, something cold, watchful. His writing became more and more erratic. The ink splotched and smeared, as if tears had fallen on the page. The last line of the entry sent a chill down Samuelson's spine. "It's following me. It's following us all." Section 9. The cycle repeats. Samuelson slammed the logbook shut, his heart pounding. He finally understood. The Mary Celeste wasn't just a haunted ship. It was a beacon, drawing people in, only to claim them as its own. Driven by some unknown force, it lured unsuspecting souls, trapping them in an endless cycle of mystery and despair. He thought of the missing crew, of Morehouse and his men, their fates intertwined with the ship's dark secret. He realized with a dawning horror that he too had been drawn in, caught in the Mary Celeste's web of mystery. Section 10. Lost to the depths of time. As Samuelson left the archives, clutching Morehouse's logbook, he felt a cold wind against his face. He could have sworn he heard the creak of timbers, the distant cries of gulls, but when he turned, there was nothing there, just the echoing silence of the city street. Or was there? The Mary Celeste story wasn't over, it would never be over. As long as the sea held its secrets, the legend of the Mary Celeste would endure, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are best left undisturbed. For some stories, like the ocean itself, are timeless, vast, and ultimately unknowable.